RewardingWays just reopened after being shut down for months. And yes, I actually got paid from it after it reopened. But before you rush to sign up, there are a few things you need to know first, because not everything about this comeback is good news. In case you don't know, my name is Michael and I've tested hundreds of different ways to make some extra money online. And if you've been following my channel, you might remember that I have talked about RewardingWays before it went dark and just suddenly closed down for months without actually warning their members first. But anyways, it is now back and I've been testing it since it reopened, and I want to give you the full picture, what's working, what's not, and whether it's actually worth your time right now. So of course, as usually, no hype, just my real experiences and opinions to help you find out if this is the right opportunity for you or not. So let's just get to it. So let's first start by going over who can join. And RewardingWays is a website that's free to sign up for, a get paid to site where you can earn by doing different things. I will log in and show the exact ways to earn. But as mentioned, it used to be a platform I had been a member of for years actually, and then suddenly it just closed down. There was a notification on the website saying that it would be back in a few months. It took around 4 or 5 months, I think, or so, and then it reopened, completely new design, both externally and also inside. Some earning methods, they are gone and some new ones have been added. So there have been quite a lot of changes also when it comes to payout methods, all these different things. So let me just log in and just have a closer look. You just need to be aware that from what I'm aware, you should be able to join from basically all countries, but as it always is with get paid to site, how many ways you have to earn and how good the earning opportunities are really depends on your country. But let me now log in and then we'll take a closer look at what it offers. So I have now logged into RewardingWays, and you can see, if you used it before also, the design inside is completely different also here, and they simplified the menu. It was quite a bit confusing before, but now you can search here for the service, and that's where you can scroll down and find the different survey providers they're working with, or you can find some surveys here. So it's made it a little bit easier. I do like the new design. I would say for the paid surveys and how much you can earn, of course that will vary depending on the country you live in, but I would say it's kind of average for what you can earn from a survey site. But it does give you a good amount of service because it works with so many different survey providers. They also have a gaming section. It's basically just the offer walls, but they just put it into paid games, and then you can click the offers here where you find the same offer walls. So it's a little bit confusing why they changed like this here, because you can see if you click here, then it's the same, different offers. It's not just games, it's the same offers as if you go to the same offer wall here in the offer section. So I'm not sure why they have divided like this. I would assume that if they did this, it would have been good if it was actually just games you could find here. That's how many other get paid to sites have done it. Maybe that will also be improved in the future. It has just reopened here right before I actually just tested it, and also decide to then record this updated video about it. But it does have quite a lot of paid offer walls. It works with around the same as before. I think maybe a little bit less, but still a quite decent amount. Again, the rewards here compared to other get paid to site, I would say it is around average, not higher, definitely not. Some offers a little bit lower than in others, but decent. They also have a few other ways to earn. They, for example, now have these membership levels where you can see that when you move up, then you will get some rewards. This is just one-time reward, so just keep that in mind. Also, I have actually been a member for years and earned a decent amount here, but after the reopen, you can log in with the same account as you had before, so you shouldn't create a new one. If you had earnings, we'll talk about the earnings and how to get paid in just a bit there, then you will still have the same earnings. I have cashed out, so that's why I have so little in my account here now, because I needed to test if it's still paid. There's some very important details you need to know about that also that has changed, that we will talk about in just a bit. But as you can see, I have moved down to level 1, so you start from scratch when you start again. That's the same with the referral program, because they have a referral program where you can see that you can earn if you invite people to join. It used to be where you would just earn a percentage continuously. Now they've changed it like this. Way harder to earn from it now also, and they also removed all the referrals you had. So here they also just reset your account. A little bit strange the way they've done this here to people that have been a member for a long time, but that's just how it is. If you don't like it, then you can just use other platforms instead. There are many things about it. I think it's a little bit a weird way to do it, as I've already explained there. But anyways, that's how they decided to do it. But let's now look into the payout methods, because that's of course also extremely important to know about. What does it now offer, and does it still pay? So I now jump to the withdrawal section, and you can see the minimum payout threshold is now $3. It used to be $1 for some of the payment methods, and for me now I have PayPal and Skrill, so some decent payout methods. But be aware that it does offer other options in some countries. You can see on the front page here it says it also offers Visa and Venmo, so that's just not available for me. So it all depends on where you live. As I mentioned earlier also, I have actually withdrawn because before I closed down I had gathered around $100, so I withdrew that as soon as it reopened because I wanted to make sure that I could still withdraw. And I do like that it still pays fairly quickly, usually within a few hours. But just be aware that something has now changed then, because I had my account in here verified before and everything, but now you had to do it again. So I actually had to share my phone number first of all. I've talked to some others that didn't have to do that, but I had to do that. Also, when I cashed out, I had to share my full address. That's something I haven't actually seen on other get paid to sites, something I'm not super comfortable with, because I'm not saying they're doing anything with it, but I don't know how securely they keep their data and all that. So they are asking for this, and I understand that get paid to sites and service sites, they have strict security. They need to verify their identity and all that, because if not, there's a lot of scammers that will just commit fraud and they will go out of business if they didn't try to protect against that. But I have just never seen before that you actually have to share your full private address to be able to withdraw. So I don't like that aspect of it, but it's just something that you need to be aware of, something that I had to do again here now when I cashed out again. So just keep that in mind, because I know some people don't like that. If you don't like that, then in general you should be aware that most sites will ask you for some kind of verification, because as I mentioned there, they need to protect themselves. But here you actually have to share your address also. So keep that in mind, so you can then find out if this is for you or not. So overall, I think RewardingWays is a decent get paid to site. There's some things I like about the whole update. I like the design. I think it's pleasant. I don't like that they didn't let you know that they just closed down, so you got a chance to take your earnings out before, and that it was closed for 4 months. I don't really see the need for that, because it was just a redesign. There's not that much change with the earning methods. There's a few that has been removed. The bonus system has changed a little bit, but it was a little bit confusing that it had to be closed for that long, especially because it's owned by the same company that runs the get paid to site SuperPayMe. If you know that, I recently made a video about that, because that went through the whole same thing where they closed down for months and then they opened, redesign and everything. So I'll leave a link to a video about that if you want to know more about that. But it basically offers the same. It was just after SuperPayMe reopened, then RewardingWays closed down for months. And I don't understand it had to take that long, because they've just been through the whole same thing with SuperPayMe, and RewardingWays basically offers the same, more or less the same design, the same earning methods, all these things. So it was a little bit confusing for me that it had to take this long for them. Didn't like that. Also, this whole thing about sharing your full address to withdraw, you do need to keep that in mind. I do like the fairly low payout threshold, and that they also pay out quickly. Definitely also great, but it doesn't have quite as many opportunities as it used to, at least not for me where I live. If you have tried the new version here for yourself, I would love to hear your experiences and your opinion about it in a comment below. But this is my opinion about it. If you want to join it, I will leave a link below to a full written tutorial I have on my website, where you can find the joining link also and easily get started. That will also support my channel, and I would definitely appreciate that support. But as mentioned, I do think that there are better get paid to sites where you can earn more effectively, and where there's just many aspects that I just talked about here that I prefer in other get paid to sites. So this is not one of the ones that I am using the most. So if you want to see my top recommended get paid to sites, then I will leave a link also to that below, so then you can go and check that out. But no matter what, if this video helped you, then please make sure to hit the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out next time I release a video with tips and tricks about different ways to make money online.